And I guess I just don't have the balls to say, hey guys, can I take a bathroom break? Or I just didn't know what to do. So I'm sitting there like, oh fuck. And I'm like, even if I get in a hand, I'm going to be fucked. Like, I don't think I'm about to piss myself for sure. And there's nothing I'm going to be able to do about it. So they play a hand where Ollie opens and Asher 3-bets him. And I'm like, okay, this is it. And I fucking just, I sprint down the hall and get in there and piss. And I didn't wash my hands. I'm sorry, guys.
Me and my buddy, we making all of this money. Yeah, I know it's rude to be bragging. They never catching us slacking. Me and my buddy.
All right, guys, welcome back. Table One Podcast, co-host Art Parmann, other co-host Justin Young, and special guest today is Brian Green. Thanks for coming, man. Sincerely, this is I feel like it's been too long in the making. You come to Vegas and you play a lot of poker, so I can't get you on some free time.
Yeah, I'm really honored to be here. Actually, I'm not sure I'm worthy, but I know everyone. I know everyone that you had on. I've played with most of them, so hey. Like I feel really honored to be here. Though.
Sorry, we've had some episodes with just on us on it, so it's got to be better than that.
That is true. I was scrolling through and I actually watched the first like 10 minutes of our original episode. I was like, man, can't hear shit.
We've come a long way.
Yeah. Kind of, sort of. I don't know. So I know you have seen a handful of our episodes. We do thank you for it. But just in case, the reminder or whatever, we just kind of like to take the viewership back a little bit to when you were, you know, a teenager and like how you grew up and like kind of what got you in the world of gambling, poker as well, but like more gambling, you know.
Right.
So where'd you grow up? Texas?
I did. Arlington, Texas. Born and raised Arlington, Texas.
All right. That's just outside of Dallas, right?
In between Dallas and Fort Worth.
Okay.
It's, when I was a kid, it was just an unknown city in between Fort Worth and Dallas. And then now, you know, we've got the Dallas Cowboys and
yeah, the Rangers are there too now, or they used to be there?
Texas Rangers always been in Arlington. Yeah. But, you know, it was kind of an unknown city. And then I'd say it still kind of is for most people, but it's just, you know, the Metroplex, Dallas-Fort Worth, DFW, basically. When people ask me where I'm from, I generally don't say Arlington. I say Fort Worth.
Okay.
That's where I live now, or that's where my home's at. So.
Nice.
Well, I don't really have a home. I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're a nomad, man.
Kind of a lie. I have homes. They're on Airbnb, though. So. Anybody needs a home in Granbury, Texas, by the way, Airbnb.
There you go. All right. Shout out. We'll put
I'm going to have a lot of plugs, trust me.
Yeah, that's fine. So how'd you grow up? Brothers, sisters?
One older brother, 5 years older than me.
Oh, 5. Okay.
And when did you get into gambling? I think I read online through your dad, or...
You know, the first time I remember playing poker was with my dad. I want to say I was 7, and my his grandfather passed away. So my great grandfather, and we, as a child, I guess maybe once every couple of years, we didn't see him that much. They lived in Cushing, Oklahoma, but my dad would just randomly take us to see him, and he was a gambler of sorts. He played dominoes. Mm-hmm. He was really, really good at dominoes. So after he retired, I think he lived to be like 92 or something. But after he retired, he had 20 years where every day he would go down to the domino place and hustle dominoes. And then, you know, he was trying to win money playing dominoes. And so anyway, as a kid, getting to know him, we went to his wake basically after his funeral, and all the men got all their change out of their cars and pockets and had a big penny quarter, you know, just coin poker. But they played all night. I just sat in my dad's lap, and that was my first experience with poker. And I think I picked it up pretty quick. You know, like they were playing 5-card draw and 7-card stud, and it was really exciting to me. Like, wow, we get to take these other people's money. And my dad told me, you know, a couple hours in, he's like, hey, whatever we win, you'll get to keep. So by the end of the night, I just pretty much had all the money because no one really gave a shit. It was like, you know, $5 a piece, $10 a piece. But at the end of the night, I'm like, man, I won $37. This is pretty cool. You know, it was just two little kids.
$1 million for a 7-year-old.
Yeah,
How was your poker face at 7? I mean, I couldn't imagine sitting in your dad's lap like...
I mean, to be honest, I must have a pretty big ego because I already thought I was the best at the table. I thought they sucked, to be honest.
Just right away.
I can remember like, oh, these people are really bad.
Why is he putting in money and drawing all those cards? That's so many cards.
Yeah, what's going on? Exactly. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. He's just giving away money. So yeah, I really, no, to be honest, I really did feel like I had a kind of a mind for games at an early age. My family was always into cards though. Before that I had, you know, they play oh hell, spades. Every family get together was always cards.
Oh, nice.
I think anyone who plays a lot of cards when they're a kid ends up with pretty good card sense or whatever you want to call it for different.
Oh yeah, especially like in my situation, my granddad he was a manly man, and he didn't really care too much about feelings. Like boys weren't supposed to have feelings. So I was his partner, and so we stayed with them after school as kids, and I would be his partner, and my brother would be my grandma's partner.
And like spades and stuff?
Yeah. And I was just learning to play spades, and I remember we were playing, I had to be like 10 years old, and we were playing, and we go set. He leads out a spade, and I play like the 10 of spades, and then they catch it with like the jack, and then the next hand they lead spades, and he plays the ace, and I have the king. So he gets the book, but it swallows up my king.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, why the fuck didn't you play the king when I led a while ago? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, when I lead a small spade, it's fucking telling you to play your biggest spade.
It says that I have the
idiot. Like,
what
cool. The fuck are you doing? And like, he literally got mad and stormed out of the room and went out on the porch and like put a big old thing of chaw in. And he's out there spitting it. About 20 minutes later, he came in. You ready to play now? You know what the fuck you're doing? Like he didn't really. I was actually the only grandkid. They had 9 kids, and so wow. I don't know how many grandkids, tons. But I was like the only grandkid that really wanted to spend time around him because everyone was just really scared around him.
He was a little coarse is all? I mean,
yeah, really. But I knew he loved me. He was like the best, man. Like the best. Trust me, he was the best. But all my other cousins and stuff were just terrified of him because he was just very straightforward, I would say, or maybe a little gruff. He was born in like 1902 or something. So, came to Texas on a wagon train from Oklahoma. So yeah, he didn't
have time for bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
Give his advice quickly and sternly.
Yeah, I went fishing with them one time, and I got stickers all in my feet. And I was just sitting in the grass, trying to pull these stickers out. He's over there in the camp. He's like, I'm crying like a little girl, I guess. And he's like, just pull them out. I'm like, Grandpa, help me. And he's like, it's not my fault. You're an idiot walking around out in the woods with, just like no sympathy for crying and it was pretty rough as a kid sometimes, but I guess it just never affected me like everyone else. And he loved to, he wasn't a gambler, but he loved to compete, cards and anything he played. He would get really pissed off if he didn't win. So he wasn't a very good loser. He didn't lose very much either though. So.
Are you a good loser, Brian?
I'm getting a lot better, actually. I think I'm getting a lot better. I used to take it pretty hard, but now I just realize it's part of it and get up and walk away.
The older you get, yeah.
When you're really competitive and take up poker, you definitely have to learn that it's part of the game.
Well, you know what? I've never really been considered, I think, for most players as a pro. I'm still considered as a rec. So I kind of get irritated with all the expectations of how I should behave. Like over the years, I have become a lot more reserved and more gentlemanly at the game. And I think it should be that way. But then there's spots where I'm not a pro. So if you don't even call me a pro, someone says, do you think Brian Green's a pro? And he's like, nah, he's not a pro. But then you expect me not to celebrate when I win.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like, I don't know. It kind of takes a little fun out of the game. I went to LAPT in Mexico City and they celebrate when they win.
Damn right.
And even the pros, the guys that are running games and that have clubs, and when they win, they're like, vamos, they get up and no one's pissed off about it. But it seems like here, if you celebrate, everybody's like, what a jerk.
I swear we mention it about every other episode. And I feel like I'm trying to tout it just as much as you did, but as long as you're not in someone's face, you're not demeaning them or whatever. As long as you're not doing that shit, I think people should stand up and cheer and celebrate when they win, and they should be upset when they lose. It's okay to just be pissed that if you lose. Again, don't look at your opponent and be like, "You fucking idiot! Why would you play that hand?" Don't do that shit. But
of course,
if you want to be sad, be sad. If you want to be happy, be happy.
If you get too outed, it sucks. Yeah, you're allowed to go. That sucks.
Exactly.
I'm not for in your face, motherfucker.
Yeah,
when you win, or I don't want to do that.
Running around the table and shit like that is fucking great to me. I think that helps poker a lot.
Phil Lock did it. That's what made him famous, right? Running around the table, doing push-ups, all this kind of. I remember when I made a WPT final table, when I got off of it, I was like, God, why didn't I do anything? I remember watching him and I was just like a stone. I was so damn nervous that but I look back at it, I was like, he was really smart about taking those opportunities and using them, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think everyone should just feel their feelings, and again, just don't attack anyone else. But just feel your feelings and enjoy them. It's a rare business or a rare game that we all get to play, and feeling the highs and the lows is why we do it. Because if you're just doing it just for money, you shouldn't be playing poker. You should be on, I don't know, the stock market or be a doctor or a lawyer somewhere. Like, it's not the poker responsibility for you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I agree with that. I don't know.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. I like the emotions. It's just it's fun to show them when you're all friends and all that. But I don't know. The game, it's just like if you feel the feeling, it just hurts more. To me, like whenever I'm fading 2 outs, I'm just like I instantly look for my ways to lose so that I know not to react when it comes out. I'm just like, I'm gonna feel bad if this happens, but
no, for sure, and I get that or whatever. But like, I mean, especially since I've gotten older or more grizzled or more calloused, whatever, like, the highs have gotten lower and like the lows have gotten higher, which is good for like, bankroll management and temperament and stuff like that. But I miss that feeling. I'm not going to lie. Like, I mean, I don't miss the bad feelings, but like, I don't think you can have the bad without the good. So like, I remember the first time I hit a set in live poker, that was like, I still remember it to this day.
Right.
The guy literally, like, I checked to him and he just like, I started shaking immediately. And he was just like, I was playing like 2-4 limit at Mandalay Bay. And he was like, you have a set. Nice job. He's just like, I'm just going to check, but you're going to bet the river. I'm going to fold just to let you know. And he's just like, he's probably like 50, but like in my mind, he was like 94 or something like that. And like, I was like, fuck, how did he read me as I'm like slowly putting my like shaking hand back to my stack? But I'm just saying, like, it was I don't know. I just like emotions or whatever. I'm kind of glad that you specifically are on, because like I know you like to show your emotions at the table.
I do. I will say that I'm very cognizant of trying to temper them a little bit more than I used to. I'm especially just trying to be nicer at the table, I guess, because I love poker. I'm really like, I've got business that I do outside of poker, but I really love poker so much more than my business at this point for some reason, that I really want to grow some kind of something in poker other than just playing poker. I just want to be in poker. I love poker. So I'm trying to be a little bit more different at the table. I think in the earlier years, I was like, I'm not a pro. I don't give a shit. I make a living. I don't care what anyone thinks about me. And I was kind of like an asshole at points. And then now I have people tell me, hey, you remember playing with me 15 years ago at this stop? I'm like, nah, not really. He's like, man, you're a jerk, dude. I was like, really? Yeah, you were so full of yourself. And like, and then I'm like, I start thinking about it. I was like, man, I never really like saw myself that way. But then when I'm here, have more than one person tell me I wasn't very kind or friendly, I'm like, okay, maybe I better work on that. Like I consider myself a good guy. So I don't want to be a Kassouf or I definitely don't want to be a Cabral or a Kassouf. I was kind of hoping Kassouf would win the main. I know
why would you say that?
Well, because I'd have a great story for my like great grandkids and shit. I got to bounce him out of a party in Barcelona once, and then it was really like nice. I just kind of had him by his shirt and get the fuck out of here. All the way out, he's like, Brian, you know me, man, we're friends, and he's talking all this shit all the way out. And I was like, dude, I took him out, but the cool part is he snuck back in, and I'm supposed to. I mean, to my credit, I have to make a really good excuse here because Brent expected me to be like security and handle all the party favors for all his VIPs for like 150 people at this party. And I was the only one doing it. So I'm like running around, like people are like, hey, can you do this? Can you get this? Can I have this? And it's just nonstop. And all of a sudden I get a message and it's like, how the fuck did Kassouf get in my party? And I look over, they've got like a VIP thing. Brendan just like rented the whole club, shut the whole club down for a GG poker party. But they've got like a deal in this club where you can see through the barn doors, the sliding doors that close, but you can see through them because they're like glass and wood, but it's on both ends. And it's just a big, like long picnic table inside, but there's like 20 people. So that's the VIP room. And he's got his family, his dad's mom, his girlfriend or wife.
There you go.
And I'm not sure if they're married, but that's his woman for sure. But his whole family, it's his VIPs and stuff. And he says, what the fuck is Kassouf doing in here? And I'm looking around, I can't find where Kassouf is. And I look and he's in the VIP room with his arm around Sophie, Bren's girl. And Bren's next to her, but like he's got her pulled to him and he's just like talking to her. And I get him out of there. But the crazy thing is he sneaks back in and Bren's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what the hell's going on? I'm like, what? He's like,
you have 48 jobs to do.
Right, exactly, I did. But Kassouf was in there again. So Kassouf's at the door, at the sliding barn door, trying to slide it open to go in there again.
Try to sneak back.
So the second time I took him out, I skinned him up a little bit. So I wanted him to win the main event just so I could tell my great grandkids, hey, I got to beat that guy's ass one time.
All right. Well, you can send him a link to this podcast. Send him the other thing of him getting kicked out of the main event and be like, look, I would have got him out of there a lot faster than Jack did.
Definitely would have put him with less shit.
Oh, yeah, the name Jack.
Jack McClelland just passed away this morning or yesterday or whatever.
I didn't even know that. I did not know that he passed away. I knew he was in the hospital.
Oh, shoot. So, I'm sorry to break the news. I love Jack McClelland.
Rest in peace.
Yeah,
me too.
Big fan of Jack. The original tournament director, and he was great at his job. And I don't think tournament poker would be what it was or what it is if it wasn't for him.
Man,
seriously.
In recent years, I've played a lot with him too. He's been hanging out at the Win a lot.
Oh yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
God bless his family. I didn't know.
Moment of silence. Pause this video for 12 seconds. I like Jeff too, or sorry, Jack. But
sounds like you love John.
Yeah, John was great, but
this is going to be a lot more.
Win a tournament at the Bellagio while he was there, so.
I've told this story on there. The first tournament I played was at the Bellagio. It was a daily 1K back in like 2004, like early, where like their daily 1Ks got a bunch of people, like 400 people or whatever. Actually, not that many. Sorry, it was like 150. But either way, I won, and we were heads up, and Jack came to me, and he's like, "Do you want a chop?" And I was like, "What the fuck is a chop?" And he's just like, "Oh, you guys can just split the money." And this is back in the day again, where like second or first place was twice what first place is or whatever. And I was like, "Oh my god, that's like life-changing money to me." Absolutely. When I had him like beat like 2-1 in chips, and I was like, "You just want to chop?" The guy's like, "Yeah, what kind of deal?" I was like, "Down the middle." And he's just like, "Yeah, let's do that." And Jack's like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" I was like, "Yes, I like money. Like, give me money, please."
I mean, in hindsight, I guess probably wasn't the greatest chop for you,
dude. No, honestly, I was
happy with it.
Yeah, if I was happy with it and the guy was happy with it, I think it's the win. I know I gave away equity, but I didn't know what equity was really at that time, so I didn't really care. But anyway, Jack, love you. He gave us like comps to go out to like the buffet place or whatever.
Love Jack too. Developed a really soft spot for him back in the day. I walked into I got a message that someone that owed me was playing big in Bellagio. And I walked in there and tried to collect, and he said no, so I just picked it up. And Jack came up to me and goes, "Bro," he started hollering. Jack's like, "You can't do that, man. You cannot do that." And I said, "I'm fucking doing it." And I left. And he covered for me. I didn't get in any trouble. So I don't know how that worked, but
I don't know either.
Never got in any trouble. I mean, I did get, obviously I wasn't allowed to go back to the Bellagio for a while, but I didn't get in any legal trouble.
Gotcha. Oh, I do definitely want to catch up to all of this.
Let's define trouble. But after that, I did have a very soft spot for Jack because I would see him and he would tell me he understood. You can't do that, but I understand.
I might also do it in your position if I didn't work here, right?
All right, guys, quick break. We just want to be here to tell you guys about Phenom Poker. Very recently, they have added MTTs to the repertoire. Every day, there's a good 10 to 12 tournaments going on right now. And in addition, if you're a first-time depositor on Phenom Poker, you can get up to 200% on $2,000 for a bonus. All you have to do is use our link, which will be posted hopefully right there, here. I don't know where it's going to be. But you get on there, put on some money, get in USDT, and then come gamble with us, and you can get some rake back.
That's right. And if you see me or Justin at the table, definitely say something, and we will probably punt it off to you. Extra rake back for the fans.
That's right. We like to keep it in the family.
All right, back to the show. All right, well, let's get back to your story a little bit because you said you're a businessman, and when you were coming up through high school, did you go to college?
No, I didn't.
What did you do right after high school?
Oh my goodness. Went to prison.
Oh, shit.
Don't jump ahead, Art.
Well, okay. Let's go back in time. What kind of cool shit did you get into to go to prison?
If we go back to the gambling stories part, so after my dad passed when I was 11, and my mom went from being never working, 17 years married, homemaker, and all of a sudden she was working 2 temporary jobs. So we had no parents. And I was at home 11 years old, and my brother was 16. And I think we got into a lot of crazy stuff, but everything kind of started with me busting my brother and his friend smoking weed. And I was 11 years old, and they didn't want me to tell mom. So naturally, they let me smoke.
Oh, good. That's even better.
No, he's like, "Here, try this." And I didn't know at the time, but looking back, it was so I couldn't tell mom, right? Unbeknownst to my brother, I had a very addictive personality. And, well, not only that, the first time I smoked with him, I was like, "How much did y'all pay for this?" Because they were laughing, acting goofy, and they were just goofy fuckers. I was like, what? I wasn't even asking my brother. I was asking his friend, because I knew he was kind of a hustler. I was like, how much did y'all pay for this? How much is a bag? And I was immediately, even at 11 years old, I was immediately like, well, what if I buy more? He's like, well, yeah, for an ounce, you get it for $60. I'm like, well, how many of those can you roll, out of that? And he told me, I'm like, how much does a joint sell for? So I kind of become a drug dealer at 11 years old.
11-year-old entrepreneur.
Just by default. Yeah, I got him to get me an ounce for $60, and I rolled like a ton of little pinner joints and sold them for $3 a piece. And next thing you know, I was a drug dealer. I mean, it wasn't planned.
Who was your clientele? Was it other like classmates or like people you're
No, just everybody I was in class with. I mean, it's one of those things that when you have something that you're not supposed to do, even though they don't know shit about it, they've never done it. It's just like, hey, you want to smoke a joint? And everybody's like, oh yeah, sure. Like I want to do something bad. So it just, what I found is drugs are pretty easy to sell. It's
cheers. Yeah, absolutely.
You don't really have to try very hard, but no. So
drugs sell themselves. That's for sure.
So that kind of segues into my brother's best friend, or one of my brother's good friends, lived literally 2 blocks away, maybe like, I don't know, less than 3/4 of a mile away. You could go down our street, take a left, and his dad was a Arlington police officer, and his dad loved to play poker, and he taught him poker at a very young age. So he was 16, 17, him and my brother. And so my brother's whole group played cards there at this house, and his bedroom was a garage that got converted to a bedroom. So it was kind of like off the house. His parents never, like, he was the only kid we knew that age. His parents just never bothered him. He already had a really nice car. And he was one of those guys that had like a shoebox, just like with his money. He would roll up his $1 into like $50 and put rubber bands on. He just had shoe boxes full of all his money and never spent any money. And he was the kid in the neighborhood that had all the money at a young age, but he was running basically a game. And I started playing in that game, I guess, right before I turned 12. And, lunch money, the skip lunch at school, use that money, allowance money, was mowing yards, my weed money, and I was gambling. So I started gambling pretty regular there. I mean, we were playing like dice, we were playing AC Deucey. No Limit definitely wasn't a thing ever there. And we were playing like a lot of the carnival weird games. We were playing Mexican Sweat. I
haven't thought about that game in so long.
Yeah, we played a lot of AC Deucey, but I don't know. Early on, I had a knack for beating them all. I didn't feel like they're as smart as me, really. I know that sounds egotistical, but that's just the way I felt. I felt like my brother's crowd wasn't that bright a
bunch of potheads. I mean, geez. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was, but Anthony DeQuay, the guy that ran the thing, he was really good. He was sharp. He was very sharp compared to all of us, and so he was basically just scamming everyone. I wouldn't be surprised if he's cheating a little bit too. But hey, Anthony, I know you're probably going to watch this too, you fucker. He's on Facebook, but nah, maybe not. But he was really, really good at showing you a bluff and then always having it when you called. Like I remember that from he's the one that kind of taught me poker. And
it's like an old school thing, right? Like beginning of the session, just like roll over some bluff at some point, and then just they play tight the rest of the time. Right.
But imagine, like, for many years, I mean, I was winning money, but probably against him, because a lot of times I would go over there and there's no one there, and me and him would just play heads up games, Mexican Sweat, whatever, 7-card stud. We would just sit there and gamble against each other. So heads up, I was a big loser. But when there was a game, I would always beat the game. But then I would go over there and give most of it back to him. So I kind of learned gambling through him. And now I'm sure he watches, because he comments a lot on my Facebook and Instagram and stuff, because he never got into gambling after that. Like he became a police officer and then got into banking and never plays any poker tournaments and doesn't gamble anymore at all. So like that was as a kid, like after he was in his early 20s, no more gambling. I mean, he goes to the casino and on the occasional time, but now he's like, that crowd's pretty impressed that I won a World Series of Poker bracelet and stuff like that, because he feels like he's probably the one. I cut my teeth on gambling by him scamming me every week.
Sure. I mean, this isn't going back to like 11, 12 years old, but like home game, I think when you play in a home game and like people just gamble for fun every once in a while, and then somebody goes off, like I went off to Vegas and started playing poker, I occasionally get people reaching out or like you said, commenting on stuff, and they're kind of a little bit living vicariously through someone they know, like, oh, I know that guy. I used to play with him in my 1-2 no limit home game, And,
right.
I mean, that's a cool part of poker too, that you can have like a real life and a real career. And then also, you can still kind of sweat your friends who tried to make it pro or who happen to do well on the side like you.
It's a very unique thing for them to watch. I was thinking as I was getting this coffee in Starbucks, it came to me and it was like, my first night here, I came with a guy to do some business, to have business meetings, totally ungambling related. But then he watched me play blackjack and I ran it from like 4,400 to like 31K. And I'm like, I can count on this big blackjack player. But the next night I lose 17. The next night I lose 27. And I'm sitting in the Starbucks and going, I don't feel that bad for someone that's lost like 40K in the last 2 days. And then I thought, most people just can't understand this life. Like it would terrify them. And it's like, it's okay to lose that because I know that I can go back today and win it back if I'm just like disciplined and take my time. Like the last 2 nights I wasn't. The first night I actually tried to win. I don't know. That's what's really intriguing about gambling to me too, is it occurred to me in the last couple of years that I don't think that I've actually ever really tried to win until very recently, especially at poker. Like I just played poker and kind of loosey-goosey, and it's like, I've got a spot for all the fucking chips, all the money with queen 10 of diamonds where I've 3-bet and some guy jams on me. I'm like, fuck it, let's gamble. And then I look back and I'm like, if I would have just been more disciplined in all these spots, probably would have won a lot of money. But there's just like this, it's hard for me to lock down that degen inside. Like, even though I know it's bad, it's like, I might win though. I've got queen 10 of diamonds. Fuck, I could have all the chips.
That's a good hand.
I could have all the chips, but then right after I lose, I'm like, fuck that. I had 60 bigs to start that hand. That was a little stupid. Fuck, what did I do that for? So
yeah, I'm really remember the times where it worked out. You're just like, oh, yep, gambling won. And then
well, I don't think it's worked out very much. That's the problem. But
they always have it.
The thing is, I think I'm really getting locked in though on like being a little bit more disciplined, or a lot more disciplined. I want to win now.
Speaking of locked in, let's talk about right before you get out.
Locked in, locked away.
Let's go back to your teenage years a little bit.
I don't mind talking about it. Really. It's part of
it's incredibly interesting.
It's part of my house, my past, and I have to embrace it. Really, it's embarrassing a little bit, but it's part of who I am.
Was it drug related?
All sorts of bad stuff that I'm pretty ashamed of. Actually, I don't really think I'm that ashamed of the drugs. I had a point where my mother one morning we were getting ready for school, and I'll always remember it. It's like a vivid memory for me. But I'm getting ready for school. I'm eating like Rice Krispies. My brother, that's 5.5 years older than me, is sitting there in the living room watching like Tom and Jerry. We're like 20 minutes from leaving for school, and my mom's at the kitchen table with all these bills piled out on the table, and she's kind of like, looks like she wants to cry. And you have to understand, my mom was always the kind of mom that never let on that things were wrong. She was just never the kind of mom that was, we're going to get kicked out. You know how some moms will, oh, fuck, we're going to get evicted. I don't know what I'm going to do. She was just never that type of lady. So to see her like vulnerable like that was really tough. So I'm not going to say I'm ashamed of what I did to kind of like do that, but drug related, but also just like, man, I started running at 12 years old, I was running with the wrong people, selling drugs. So I was running with the wrong crowd and started doing a lot of wrong shit, so stuff that my dad definitely taught us was wrong. Doing a little thieving, and I'm proud to say that I'm not a thief. That I'm good for my word.
100% on that.
I did go through some years where my morals were definitely not in line with what they should have been. I got a little lost, and I paid the price for it for sure. I think I paid a really heavy price for it because we couldn't afford a good
lawyer.
attorney. So a good attorney probably would have kept me out of it. So,
Man, I mean, I knew fringes of the story or whatever, but obviously sorry to hear, but like this, it does happen. Like, my brother, he was fortunate. He got in a lot of trouble when it came to, I don't want to guesstimate what it is or whatever, but like, it was some drug stuff or whatever. And like the judge was nice enough. He's like, you either join the military, I'm sending you to jail for like 5 years. And like, it came with like wearing a wire and doing some other stuff too. But like, my brother was like, I'll just join the military. That seems way better than, than that. But like, I mean, not everyone's afforded that opportunity.
I tried that option and it just wasn't there anymore. By the time, I think like a few years before I got in trouble, that was still kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Like if you would do it, but I don't think that's a viable option anymore. But it definitely was before, because I had saw some stuff about it and tried, and they're just like, honestly, I had a plethora of chances. The biggest problem for me was I got a really good attorney early on, provided from someone else. And by the time we got to this stage, he was no longer providing my legal counsel. And probably the first 7 times I got in trouble, it was just like nothing.
Gotcha.
So I thought, as a young man, I thought, oh, well, shit, as long as
bulletproof,
there's really nothing that can happen here.
Yeah.
Like this guy just keeps getting me off. So it was a very unique situation to be 18 years old and be scared to death and go in a courtroom and just have your, literally, like if you've watched Goodfellas where the Henry Hill, the first time he gets arrested, the wink, literally very close to that. I'm sitting there listening to all these cases happen for like an hour and a half, and they call out like names, they call out the roll. And when they call out the roll and I answer and they say, well, who's your lawyer? And I said, Charlie Smith. And they're, oh, okay, well, he'll probably be late. And they're like, just have a seat, just stay there. I was nervous as shit because I was like, why is everybody else's attorney here and this guy's not here? So I just sit there for like an hour and a half and listen to all these cases and all these guys getting fucked over and getting probation, going to prison, this and that. And he comes in, he's got like a pearl snap, like cowboy shirt on, buttoned up out here with hair out of his chest. And I'd never met him yet. Somebody else hired him for me. And the conversation with the judge, I had listened to all these interactions, like, this is the case. And it was all so like formal. But when he came up, it was like, hey, Charlie, you got late he's like late again as usual. And he goes, come on, at least button one button on your shirt, Charlie. And he buttons up. And I mean, he's got like a snuff hole in his Wrangler pants. But then he puts his arm around me and he goes, hey, I've known this kid. And I've never met this guy because he's a family friend. Known he's from a good family. And it's just, got mixed up with throwing crown. He doesn't need any criminal record out of this, and just kind of gives him the wink. And she's like, we're just going to dismiss it. And dismissed. And I'm like, So like, then it happens on lack of evidence or, illegal suture search. So I thought I was bulletproof, and then I learned I wasn't. So, there wasn't any way out the last time, no matter how badly I tried, but I had a year and a half kind of, on bond or whatever. And I turned my life around. I started going to church and quit all the nonsense, got a real job, and it was too late though. And that was the most devastating part, is that in my mind, I thought we would go back to court and they would see, oh, he's changed. He's not running around with all the same people, and he's figured it out. I did figure it out because it was like, how it's kind of like praying. You never pray, but then, oh God, please, like sort of the same thing. A little too late, but maybe I wouldn't be who I am today if
there you go.
Without that experience. I really don't wish that experience on anyone. I hope no one has to. Unfortunately, they figured out how to get me to like a maximum security prison.
Fuck off.
Well, Jesus. because on my mom kept trying to get me moved, but because on a lot of my convictions I had like 14 felony convictions, but like 6 of them were evading with a vehicle. So they're like, oh, this guy likes to run. Or they told my mom he's got rabbit in his blood, so we have to put him in max security. So, I had to lie about how much time I had. I had no choice because there wasn't anyone else there with like less than 50 years. No one.
Yeah, you gotta.
Well, I had to say
tougher, or not tougher, but like more legit.
I was warned very early on that if people found out I had a 6-year sentence, that they were going to try to make sure that it was a lot more than that. That it would piss them off. People are sick there. It's just, it's mostly just a bunch of mental illness, man. Most people there really need to be in a mental hospital more than a prison. There's probably like 30% of them that need to be locked away that don't need to be in society. And there's probably a big percentage of substance abuse problems.
Right.
People who really just need substance abuse treatment, not to be put in a cage. A lot of DUIs too. Like you see, there's like this 60-year-old guy in there with 4 DUIs, and he's in there with all these just animals.
No wonder you didn't want this thing too close to your face.
Hey,
I've seen Shawshank.
I know
how it works.
Bogs.
You might bring out my PTSD.
Don't do that.
My PTSD is probably actually from having to avoid what I had to do to avoid this. So there's 2 sides. You get PTSD from taking this, and you get PTSD from figuring out how to not have to take this. So.
Oh my God. I don't know if I want
Thanks,
to go
Art.
down this
Good
rabbit
joke.
hole or not.
It's true. But
There's a rabbit?
a lot of gambling. A lot of gambling in there, by the way, too.
That's what I was gonna ask.
There you go. Yeah.
A lot of gambling.
Was spades popular? I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Amongst the
dice, or was dice allowed?
Yeah, you had to make them, but they would make them out of soap. It was pretty pretty crazy that they would take soap and like harden it, carve it, put dots in it. Like, you know,
That-
people definitely
cool.
made gambling devices. Gambling was, have you heard of Tonk?
Oh yeah, I love Tonk.
Tonk was the biggest game there. Chess, dominoes, but yeah, a lot of gambling in there too, nonstop every day because there's nothing else to do.
Is it like the movies? And excuse my ignorance, or whatever. You guys gambling for like whatever favors or cigarettes or like
Soups, commissary.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's no cash, so your cash is stamps or like big equivalent to cash.
Okay.
That's your closest thing to cash is U.S. postal stamps because you actually could get cash for it theoretically. But yeah, commissary goods. Like you just say you bet $20 and you win, you just give the guy a commissary list. You know, deodorant, stamps, notebook, pay, whatever the hell.
okay.
Like commissary is the biggest fucking thing there. You know, you look forward to that.
Oh, I'm
and then
sure.
if they cancel it, you're just fucking devastated. You know, you get like a pint of ice cream, even though you don't have anywhere to keep it, but you can eat it right now. Just, you know, so yeah, that's the one thing you look forward to there, I think, is the commissary. But yeah, I did a lot of hustling there and I kind of got back into all the old habits actually of trying to be creative and make money. But,
So how was getting out? I mean, obviously, like you can turn your life around. I'm sure prison didn't help.
Yeah.
I don't want to go down that rabbit hole of talking about how bad I think prison is. But either way,
I think it probably, like, I wouldn't, if you give me the choice between death and prison for 30 days, I would choose death. I'd never do it again. Like if I could choose, hey, you got to, like, some of the rich guys I hang around with were having a conversation the other day about $1 million for 30 days. I'm like, not me, y'all can do it. And they're all like worth 50 or more. They're all way richer than me. And they're like, yeah, fuck, I would do it. I'm like, nah.
that means they haven't been there.
I'm like, so what happens if I agree to do it? And then like some guy forces me to kill him and I'm in there for the rest of my life. You know, like he just doesn't give me any choice. He's trying to fucking sexually assault me or whatever. And I just have to, there's nothing I can do but hurt the guy. So, you know,
yeah, it's not like Mr. Beast out there, guys.
Yeah,
30 days in a room.
It's really not. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. If you can keep away from breaking the law, don't do it. It's just don't have any interaction with the police is the best bet. It's just not. It's not a good life. I wouldn't recommend it. But I have been blessed. I won't say I've stayed completely out of trouble and kept my nose clean, but I have been blessed that I haven't been back. And that was my main focus when I was there. Is 82 or 88%. I kept hearing recidivism rate, and I saw guys while I was there that would leave, and before I got out, you saw them coming back in with their shit. And you're like, really? And a lot of guys, and it was like, but you're kind of in a desperate situation when you get out. No one wants to fuck with you. You can't get a job. You know, like it's just like people. It's not a fairy tale that you can't get a good job. You can't, you know, especially if you've got some really dirty shit on there. They're not gonna, you know, they don't want to have you. It's a bad risk for them, a liability, whatever. So, but I mean, you know, I like to think that I may have not reached the heights that I've reached if I wouldn't have experienced that. I mean, it made me have a totally different perspective on life. So like this morning I could have woke up and said, God, I can't believe I've dumped 40 the last 2 days. I didn't need to do that. And like, but my perspective is, fuck, I'm glad I can do it. I'm glad I'm free. Right. And I can have I ate at Pisces, like, and at Earth Cafe, and like that's a big turnaround from being.
Yeah, you know how many people out there would literally die to be able to lose 40,000 and go to Starbucks the next day, and
right. And you know how the old thing where you see the guys that pour out the beer on the concrete or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's kind of that's the purpose. Like when you're in prison, it's like they're doing it for. If I can't drink this, I'm gonna let my buddy that I guess the idea is that guys in prison would kill for a beer. Yep. Just one cold beer, it would be like, I would give everything for that because you can't get it, you know? So it's like the little taking freedom for granted. Most people just never will have that perspective like I have. It's like freedom is so precious to me that every day, no matter what goes on, I'm just feel like every day's great. And it's been that way for years. So I'm really grateful for my perspective for sure that I gained from it. But I mean, honestly, I'll probably, like, I do have PTSD from the shit. It was tough, you know?
Yeah.
Like seeing guys get hurt, seeing guys get raped, being in that situation is pretty tough situation to be in, especially as a really young man. I was really young, you know?
Yeah. How old were you when you got out?
19. Well, I was 19 and I guess 24, about to turn 25.
Are you tired of playing with players like this? Not this.
No.
This? Or this?
Or do you want to play with players like this?
Oh, wait, If you like having fun at the poker table, Table 1 is the game for you. We play high stakes, no limit, 100 blinds. And if you want to get into the game, it's actually super easy. We have a website, table1.vegas. You just go to the website, you click get a seat in the game, and fill out the form. It's that easy. It's your name, it's your phone number, it's the date that you're here, and I will personally reach out to you.
And it's only $5K minimum buy-in. Run it up at 2.5 and join us.
What was the plan from there? You said not a lot of opportunity.
There wasn't any plan. Got out, and my brother worked at Discount Tire for many years. He was a manager at Discount Tire, so he got me on there. And they do what you call like a 3-day trial period with every employee. So it's just like they tell you what they want you to do and what they expect, and then at the end of 3 days, you meet up and decide if it's for you or whatever.
Okay.
And a day and a half in, the manager came up to me because they didn't want me at my brother's store, but one of his manager's buddies hired me. And a day and a half in, he came up to me and said, "Hey man, corporate looked at your shit and we're not going to be able to hire you." And he said, "You can finish the 3 days if you want, if you need the money, like that's a contract. You can do that." And I'm like, fuck that, I'm out of here. So, I left and didn't know what I was going to do, and kind of went and talked to my mom. She didn't have any money. I had an idea. I was like, when I was a kid, my granddad like kept every yard on he did like all the widow ladies' yards for like $25 a piece a week, but he had them all. And I helped him do them as he got older. And I was like, shit, I can make, probably $1,000 a week mowing lawns or something. Like, that's better than nothing. I got to do something. Like, got to get going. And, of course, my parole officer was requiring that I had work. And they weren't going to let me do the lawn thing, as a matter of fact, because they need a supervisor. I'm like, bro, what do you want me to fucking do? Like, you want me to work at McDonald's or like, I got to make money. So anyway, my mother, we sat down and came up with a plan, or she was like, well, we could go to Home Depot and I could apply for credit. And she went up there and they gave her $800 in credit. She had like maybe $280 in the bank or something. When I got out, $280. It's like literally what she was working with. But she's like, you can use that if it'll help. And I bought a mower, a blower, a weed eater. And then one of my buddies that I kind of felt like owed me for not ratting him out, I contacted him and said, "Hey man, like I found this truck for $1,800, this little Mazda truck. I'm going to try to start a lawn service. I won't bother you anymore, but I really need this money." And he's like, "Hey, go to this auto parts store and look in the wastebasket outside. It'll be there." And that's kind of how I got started in my lawn service. And
no shit.
Yeah, I didn't have anything. Like I didn't even have enough money, I don't think, to get like at the end with I had a blower, but I couldn't get a broom. Like I was just like broke. But right away, I put a little ad, like a $20 ad in the green sheet, and shit, the next day I had like 4 jobs to go bid and did them. And within 2 weeks, I had more work than I could do by myself. And then, like people would call me and say, "Hey, can you cut this tree down?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, what,
maybe."
Well, no, I'd be like, "Yeah, yeah." And then I'd start thinking about, I didn't know what I was doing too. So sometimes I underbid myself and ended up working for free. But once I learned I remember that deal, I was like, "Yeah, I can do that." And she's like, "Yeah, some guy," she spit it out before I could say, she's like, "Some guy quoted me $1,000, but at the time I didn't want to do it, but I would like to do it if you could do it." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll do that." And, went and took a little bit of the money I had been making the first couple of weeks and bought me a chainsaw. So like, I just kept adding to my, using and then I eventually got a trailer and I worked it up. I don't know, within 2 years, I was making about $120 doing that. But I mean, working sun up to sundown, getting sunburned, had a bad headache almost every day. My allergies, you can tell, I've got super bad allergies. So it wasn't the greatest thing for me to pick to do. Like I was like, and everyone would say, "You need to wear a mask." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm too bullheaded for that too." So, but I did that for, I guess, the better part of 3 years. And then this buddy told me he had an opportunity driving a truck, and that, because the lawn service thing was seasonal, and I didn't know at that time, I wasn't savvy enough, I guess, business wise to kind of know how to manage a seasonal business, because you can manage it where it's year round if you know what you're doing, but I didn't. So both winters I was looking for shit to do. And this guy's like, "Man, I don't see how you're ever going to come up doing that." And he gave me a job and I worked for him, and he's had this promise to move up to sales and move up to outside sales. But then I just kept looking at this path he had for me, and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna fucking work here 20 years and I'll still be making what I was making at the lawn service, basically, like maybe a little more. So, and then, he would drive up every day in his yellow Hummer with his beautiful blonde wife while I was getting out of this fucking truck sweaty. And I was like, yeah, like I'm supposed to be that guy. I'm not supposed to be fucking driving his trucks. I'm supposed to be him. I just kept on kind of grinding I went back to the lawn service, I went in and told him, hey, you know, like, I make more money doing lawns than I do this. And he's like, yeah, but what about winter? And I'm like, well, I think I got that figured out now. Like, I've been studying. I think I can get through the winters by doing like yearly contracts with people and just have them pay me every month and just tell them it's a yearly maintenance contract. Doesn't matter if it's winter or not. I'll come blow all of your leaves out and mulch them up, and your place will just look amazing year round. So I figured that part out, started doing that, made a little bit more money, got it a little bit more efficient. But in the end, the cap it had for me was, you know, 150, 140-ish. And that just didn't feel like enough money for me. So my solution, the years I was sitting fucked over and couldn't do anything, my whole thing I really concentrated on was, you know what, if you make enough money, they can't fuck with you. You know, keep your nose clean, obviously. But if you're rich enough, it's you've got a little bit more protection, you know. It's just,
different laws for different people. That's for sure.
Well, you know, I've been in some trouble through the years since it's been 20 years ago. It's all been minor stuff, but thank God having a good attorney helps, you know, like when you get a DUI or little shit, you know. I've got a temper too, so every once in a while I beat the hell out of someone, but just I'm trying to get better at that. Well, I mean, when you've been to prison, bro, like the words, like, I was telling my son this, we just talked about this last night, and I still suffer from it, and it's dumb. I've prayed about it a bunch, but I just can't completely get away from it. It's a different thing, right? Like, it's no big deal if we're walking through the wind and someone bumps into me and then he calls me a bitch. It's not that big of a deal. But in there, that's a big deal. Like, if someone calls you a bitch, you better do something. You better make a move as soon as they say it to you, because if not, your life's going to be hell. So that's just kind of like,
Different laws.
Well, it's haunted. Yeah, it's haunted me for a little while because it's like that manhood thing of like, bro, no one's going to rape you here. Like, you don't.
Not to mention that 19 to 26 like age window when your brain is like finalizing its development.
Sure.
Like a lot of those habits, like law of the jungle type stuff, is going to be pretty permanent. So I get that. I mean, just from a outside study perspective, obviously I don't have the same experience you have, but like that's going to affect you long term.
It really does. And well, I've also made like some dumb choices of, you know, let's get involved in, let's be a sports bookie. Well, that's not a very great career path for someone who likes to, you know, because now someone owes you money, and it's very hard for me to be where someone owes me money. I don't know like how to put it in words, but I don't like for people to owe me money. So now I've figured out in my later years, it's best just not to have people owe me money. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few people, but you know, the Randall Emmets of the world, I don't want to deal with them anymore. Fucker owes me $100K, by the way.
Yeah, I think you're not the only one.
I mean, what a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I was in Florida recently playing that Hard Rock, and I hadn't been there in a while. And, you know, he ended up like table next to me, and it's just like so hard for me to be in the room with someone that's like posting that they're flying on private jets, and he's in there. And not only that, like I just see him running back and forth to the fucking registration cage. Like after he busted the main, he's playing a 2K, and literally I see him like 7 times in a fucking 2-hour period. I'm like, bro, why don't you just like make a payment plan?
Pay something.
Dude,
fucker.
It's amazing how much even $100 every time you see him or something like that would go. Like just out of,
well, you know,
mindset too.
You know what I've found, like even I've owed people, and it's just part of the world sometimes. What I've found is if I owe someone, even though they shouldn't be like super grateful that I'm paying them slow, they're like, fuck, he's paying me. Thank you, buddy. You get like, oh, thank you so much. Even though you're the one that owes. And you know, it's the same way when someone owes me 10 dimes and they said they would pay in a month, but then they send you 2 months later, they finally send you 1,000. You're like, oh man, you're the best guy in the world. So it's like, all you have to do is try. If you try to keep your word true in the gambling world, people will love you, man. Like everyone's been through it. Everyone's had downswings or made bad decisions. They just want you to try.
That's it.
No one cares that everyone can respect and sympathize with your hard time, but not if you don't, not if I see you everywhere spending money and you won't give me any of it.
Yeah.
Like,
you're waiting until you, make
a
million.
Yeah.
Before you pay the
what
10.
are you going to do? Get a 7?
Yeah,
I mean, and then by the time then they owe everybody so much, they feel like they don't want to pay anyone.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. Like if I took $1 million score and I owed 1.2, I would feel so great to only owe 2 now. It's like, you know what I mean? Like when I've had big scores and I owed when I the one drop thing, when I hit for 1.2, I owed like a loan shark buddy of mine like 250, and I was paying a vig on it. Immediately, like, hey, bro, meet me at the cage. He's like, you don't have to pay now. I'm like, yeah, come get your fucking money.
All right. Well, you brought it up, and it's one of my favorite stories that I researched on you, and it's gonna bring us back up, guys. You know, we'll get back. Well, we're fucking the casino in this one, and I heard it was a blackjack satellite. So run us through the getting into the one drop.
The big one for one drop, guys. By the way, it's $111,000 buy-in. This is back in like I want to say 2016,
2016.
But either way, this is like the WSOP's kind of darling child at the time. It was amazing. So either way, yes, I do want to hear about this.
I'll start off by saying it is kind of an overtold story. I've told it maybe a million times, and I really want a new story. Like I want to do something big, so I don't have to tell a 9-year-old story. Yeah, I think everybody knows the story, but basically, Keith Lear was at my day 2 table, no plans to play I don't think at that point I'd ever played bigger than 10K. 10K at the 5 diamond, I think, was my biggest buy-in at that time. Could be wrong. Yeah,
that sounds about right. Actually, I went through your stuff. It was a lot of 5K, 7,500, some like 2, 3Ks, whatever.
I don't think I'd ever played above 10K, and that was maybe once or twice a year. I wasn't firing very big. And Keith Lear was at my day 2 table of a 5K WSOP, and I probably had about 12 bigs, and so did he. And basically, he was trying to table brag. I've known him since I was young, and like he's, for me, he's like the most legendary gambler in the world. Like
Damn right.
Keith Lear's my fucking hero, and I love him. And he's also one of the guys in poker that'll do anything for me. So yeah, love the guy. But we've got like a really special bond, I guess, because of the years of me like showing up in his game at Shreveport and stuff, and just like a lot of just really crazy memories of being around him gambling. But he's just basically trying to table brag. He says, hey, Brian, you're going to play the one drop? And he just wants to let everybody know who the fuck he is. Like maybe these people don't know who he is, because it was just a bunch of guys we didn't know. The other 7 guys at the table had never seen in our life, just a bunch of randos. So he wanted to make sure they knew he was fucking Keith Lear is what it was. And
cheese monster.
Well, maybe also he just had like a feeling or whatever. So when I hadn't really ever played in any of his games regular, just like sporadically here and there, and kind of like when I've played in y'all's games here and there, just not a regular in the game, but been around him a lot. And me and this guy were working when apps first came out. We were talking about, I watched the movie 21 like the 3rd time. My wife asked me one night if we could watch 21. I'm like, well, I've already seen it twice. She's like, but I haven't. And so she's like, I think it's really cool. It's that shit you like and everything. I'm like, all right, I'll watch it. And the 3rd time I watched it, I was like, I don't even think you need a team, or I don't think you need, I think if you can do plus minus, you can just count. And so I started studying really hard to see if I could figure it out and to see how hard it was. But I was just doing it with deck of cards, and then I would get 2 deck of cards. And I kind of had the concept a little flawed at first, but I was getting better and better. And I was like, that was right around when apps were just starting being made. And I was like, I should try to make like an app, like some kind of a trainer that does this. And I got hooked up with this guy, and he's like, for $500, I can make exactly what you want. Now, like I ask people to try to recreate the same thing, they're telling me $100,000. Yeah, because he had like, I guess 10% though. So $500, and he wanted to keep 10% of the ownership. And then like within 3 months of it going live, it was free on the App Store. He got contacted because he developed it. Someone contacted him, asked him, Amsoft offered him $50K for it. And he told me, hey, you want to take this $50K? And I'm like, sure, fuck, we put $500 in it.
Yeah.
But now I look back at it, and they've monetized it where it's like $1, it's free, then it's $1. If you want to add this feature, then it's $2.99. And I'm like, they've probably made millions off that app.
But it's also one of those things where like, you don't know what you don't know, right? Like the $50K means it's good for you. You're never going to do
dude,
what
I thought,
well, I'm saying you're never going to go and do what they did with it. But they see the value that they could do with it. So like everybody wins, right? Like get to get paid, and they get to make their nut on the way they do it.
Well, I'm not a tech guy. So like I was surprised that I even got to the point I was. I definitely didn't know how to monetize the app. So it was like, I didn't want to mess with it. Yeah. And then I thought if we said no, that they would probably just go create one themselves, and then we would.
You're like, I made this for $500.
Yeah,
I could probably do it.
Yeah, so it was like a big celebration, I guess. But then that was gone, but I still used it all the time. But to be honest, even after it was made, I couldn't really, it would frustrate me. I would do 5 minutes and just throw the phone down. So I was just, God, this is fucking hard. I can't do it. And one day I was on a plane. I remember I was going to Atlantic City, and the whole plane trip, I just decided to just do it the whole time. So I'd never done it for more than like 30 minutes. And then I would get frustrated because I couldn't get past like level 12. And on that flight, something just clicked where I wasn't, before I was just like a face card would come out. Okay. -2, -3, -4. Then a small card would come out, -3, -2. And I was just doing one card at a time. But all of a sudden it was just like, after all the cards were dealt and it was stopped, it was just like, and I would just have the number. And then every time the board
kind of like cancel each other instead of waiting every time.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So 7, 8s, and 9s were just like disappearing in my mind. And then everything else, okay, well, there's 3 face cards and there's 4 small cards. So we just added 1 instead of like, because the back and forth was getting me, I couldn't keep up fast enough.
You want to know what really helped me when I was learning to count cards? Because I can't play a lot of places anymore. But what I would do is I would play with my buddy, and he actually taught me this. I would pretend we're starting at the year 2000. So instead of going like -1, +1, we're going down to 1999,
okay,
1998, 90. You could see how that could like, and then if you wanted to tell your buddy like what the count was, we knew movies that came out in specific years in the 90s. And we would be like, oh man, it's Jurassic Park right now. It's 1993. We gotta get the fuck out of here.
That's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. I never tried to do it with anyone else. I just always, was kind of solo. But anyway, Keith knew about that. He made the suggestion, was I going to play it? And I'm like, hell no, I don't play that big, bro. Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, I heard you're counting blackjack. And I'm like, nah, I haven't even tried yet. And, he's like, well, maybe you should try. And, I busted a few hands later, like ace king versus queens. And as I was getting up, he reaches in his backpack and just throws 10K on the table, a strap, and says, here, go run this up in the bind. I'm like, nah, I don't want your money, man. I don't want to owe you. He's like, you don't owe me shit. I'm like, are you serious? He's like, if you don't run it up, you don't owe me anything. I'm like, well, what do I owe you? Like, what piece do you want? He's like, just the 10K back. He was just trying to be an OG, or he is a fucking
He is an OG.
He's the fucking boss, right? So yeah, I mean, there's other aspects to it. The story's been kind of like stretched around, but I went and tried, and you know how it goes. Like I went from 10K to like 27. I'm feeling it, but then the next thing you know, I'm back down to 4. So it's like, that was like a 3-day thing. It was kind of a challenge, the challenge was thrown out. I had this guy, Shane Howitt, that deals cards to this day or runs poker room stuff. He was kind of telling me around. My boy Justin Krieger was out here like giving me a lot of support, like he was here with me for the series, like helping me out with getting juices and like running shit for me. And like, so I had like a team of guys helping me. These 2 guys were really helping me a lot, and they were like invested in this idea too. So they were like, really like, let's go, like trying to pump me up. And finally, I guess like day 3, so 2 days straight, no sleep, just like going from property to property, trying different properties, finally I end up at Golden Nugget and in the double deck, and I start hitting pretty good there. So the day of, the morning of, or like 3 a.m., the day that the one drops registers, but I don't think it registered till 3 p.m. But like 3 a.m., I tap on the shoulder and I'm drunk as shit. Like, I've just been getting drunk for 3 days straight, basically, no sleep. And I wasn't even stacking my chips. I just had, they weren't together or anything either. I just had chips all over the blackjack table, like everywhere. And I get a tap on the shoulder and it's, hey bro, you've got like 140 there, right? And I'm like, no, and I play one more hand, like 2K, a hand, 2 hands, and I lose that hand. And I'm like, okay, let's go. And I'm just like out of it. But then I go to the room and my back hurts. I'm like, from all the up and down and up and down, I'm just like exhausted. So I take a shower and my boy Justin's like, you should probably go to sleep, man. Like, it was probably like 7 or 8 in the morning by the time I got in the room and settled down, but I just could not sleep. Like, I tried to lay down, my back was killing me. So I'd get up and like stretch my back and move around, but I was just so like emotionally full of like dopamine and adrenaline that I just couldn't sleep. But I laid around, fucked around all day. And finally, like, I don't know, about 8 p.m., he's like, dude, you got to go. Like, started at 3 o'clock. I'm like, register's still open. And then I sat down with him. I'm like, look, I was 80K stuck that was part of the conversation with Keith too. Is like, hell no. I said, not only am I not playing that, if I don't do well in this tournament, I'm going to the fucking house. And he's like, you're not going to the house. It's you like the mains in 10 days. And I'm like, I don't care, bro. Like 80's a lot for me. And I was really like feeling like it was time for me to go home. I wasn't having a very good summer, and 80 was big money for me at that time. So I wasn't feeling great. So to be 80K stuck, I just thought, you know what? I've got enough. I got my 80 back. I can play the main. I can give Keith his 10 back. Why do I want to go over and play with all these fucking studs? You know, like they're just going to annihilate me, and I'm going to feel like a fucking idiot for doing this. And I messaged Keith and tell him, like, I don't think I'm going to play. And he's like, bullshit, bro. Like, you're going to win that motherfucker. You better get over there and play. He's like, you have to play. God, fuck. And then the two guys that are with me are the same thing. It's destiny, dude. You got to play. But I mean, I'm like out of it, like no rest whatsoever. And so I'm like, okay, I've got like 4 hours till reg ends. I got to take a nap. And I laid down and I just couldn't sleep. So about 10:30, I'm like, fuck it, let's go reg. And ended up bagging second in chips. And yeah.
So you ran the 10 to the exact amount? Or
no, like 142 or something.
Okay.
Like that.
40. So you got to pay back Keith the 10.
Okay. And then I mean, insane that you would still play.
And then the buy-ins,
I didn't want
111,000 and 101.
I didn't want to play.
Keith's like, this is the deal. I gave you the 10 to
yeah,
get in.
what are you talking about, bro? You're about to win 5 million. Fuck that.
Yeah.
You know, and plus for him,
yeah,
we're on different stratospheres as far as bankroll goes. So he's like, what are you talking about? 10 grand? Fuck, you know, 140 grand. What's that? That is shit. It's 140. That's one fucking bet, you know, like, so yeah, I've seen some crazy stuff with Keith. Like, me and this girl were sitting in the Preve playing blackjack, and it was after the one drop story, like a couple of years later. And, I was sitting in there trying to run it up at blackjack, and I was doing pretty good. I bought in for 20 and I was like at 180, and he comes in and he's got a Ziploc bag, a big fucking freezer Ziploc bag. And he comes into the Preve and empties that motherfucker on the table. It's just full of chips, and he just starts stacking them up. He's got like 800K there. And he just hits them for like 40 really quick, like 3 hands, and bounces. But it was weird because I had this really attractive girl with me, and I knew the only fucking reason he came in there and because she was sitting there. He's like, it's so funny. He's the best.
Put his dick on the table.
Yeah, he did. He's like, oh, you're sitting with this guy that's got 180, huh? Look at this, baby.
I bet he's working real hard for that money.
That's an adorable 6-inch dick. Do you want to see a foot longer?
He's like, you want to be with somebody who's really got money. But yeah, he big time me, big time. But you know, the funny thing is, so then whenever, the whole bad thing about this story the reason I don't really like the story anymore and I don't want to tell it's because I didn't win the tournament. And that's what sucks. It would have made it a good story if I won.
Well, wait a minute.
We can still.
What did you turn the 10,000 into, though?
I mean, you did, to your point, you entered a tournament which was probably 95% crushers, like absolute the best of the best of the best. Because if you were the best and you couldn't afford $111,000, you found someone to put you in. And you made the final table. I mean, this is like, it's not a small feat. Like this is a special thing.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I just wish I would have won the thing. And then like the biggest thing in my poker career is like, you could play the rest of your life and never be at a final table 5-handed for 5 million, you know? Right. And I got a really good spot to kind of chip up, and it didn't work out. So I still like, that's the only poker hand in my life that I'll wake up having like a nightmare about that fucking hand still to this day, swear to God.
Well, now I feel bad asking, but will you tell us the hand?
Federholtz, I remember it vividly, obviously, but Federholtz had just won a really big pot to take the chip lead. He was raking in the pot, and he was still trying to stack his chips, and his rail was going like crazy with the German flag and shit. And he turns around and pumps his fist to him, and he still hasn't stacked all his chips when dealer dealt the next hand. He pills his cards. Well, I'm still kind of like, I'm hearing all this churring and shit, and like I capped my cards big blind. I haven't looked, and I just hear him announce all in. What did you just say all in? I'm pretty sure I had like 28 bigs, something around that. So that's the first thing I did. Instead of looking at my cards, I was like, okay, count my stack, 28 bigs. I look over at him, like, fuck, you know, like, what's he just open jamming with? And then I pill 2 jacks. It's, you know, beat him, you know, put my chips in really fast. That's another thing I got from people who don't play a lot of poker. Like, bro, 700K pay jump. You didn't even take 2 seconds.
Dude, you have jacks.
I'm like, bro, he opened jam blind versus blind, and I've got jacks. And like, he's never has better. What do you fuck you think he has? Yeah. But anyway, he had ace 9 off and ace 5 flop. And you know what? The funny thing is, I'll always remember, I still thought I was going to win. Like when I saw that flop, I was just like, there's no fucking way he wins this hand. Like I'm on fire.
He's the villain. He's German. Yeah, we get it.
This is my time, you know. The ace on the turn had other plans, and yeah, that's the rest is history. Still my biggest cash in tournament poker, and yeah, I think that's why I still play. Actually, is that I want one more chance at something like that.
I mean,
that's the only reason I play poker. Is I really want a big 7-figure fucking cap in my feather. I feel like I'm good enough to do it, and it's just like I keep getting right there too.
What was the payout for? It was fifth, right?
It was almost 1.2, 1.168, something like that.
Yep.
So in terms of just buy-ins for the tournaments, only like 12 buy-ins, but
yeah,
fucking you weren't ever going to play. You were down 80. I mean, the great run out, obviously for you.
And the cool thing is I was smart enough to know, okay, we're not just going to go play every high roller now. Now, if I would have won the 5 million, probably,
sure, yeah.
Probably would have been doing some Monte Carlo. And that's the hardest thing about it. I was watch his trajectory after that. He was already crushing, but after that, he just like won like 10 million in the next 2 months. And I'm like, bro, come on, you know?
Yeah. I was your lily pad to jump off.
That's the thing.
Yeah. Like confidence in tournament poker is a real thing. We talk about it all the time in the show. And yeah, you get a win there under your belt. There's no better player than Brian Green. There's just not.
Yeah, and there's no telling what I'd do with it, but you know,
honestly, just the way you were telling that story, though, you could tell that like your confidence was on the right path because you, like you said, it comes ace 5-5, you're like, I'm gonna win.
Oh, once I sat down in that tournament, there was no fucking fear. I was like, I'm here to win. Like I'm not going to be intimidated by these guys. You know what? If you look through my hand and my best results, which is very strange because I don't really sell much action or do much business. I like to have all myself. But one of my really good friends, Sean Rice, just likes to sweat. And he's helped me when, you know, like I'll fucking give him a sweat in a $500 buy-in tournament just because I know he'll help me in bigger ones if I want to play. And I don't really like to sell. I haven't much, but with him, like we do quite a bit of business, but he doesn't like to do bigger stuff. Like he's like, yeah, you know, like you're like, I think you can crush this level. I'm like, bro, look at my fucking Hendon mob. I play my best poker against those guys where it doesn't make any sense to him. It doesn't make any sense to anyone, but every, you know, my bracelet 300, that's 10 crushers only play the 10K super turbo bounty. It's full of crushers, you know, like
you should see the final 2 tables of that thing, by the way. It's literally a who's who.
Yeah.
And I mean, for me,
I love that event, by the way.
Playing to your competition is a real thing. Like
if
you're capable of like you said, all the times you called off like crazy with Queen 10 suited when you're like, oh, 60 blinds, I shouldn't have done that. Like when you're playing against, you know,
I don't do it.
That's
exactly.
What I mean.
I just don't, well, it's something about when I'm at a table with a bunch of guys I don't know, I think I take spots that I just feel like I have to, like, I fucking have to bet here. Like I've got a jam here. This guy can't call.
It forces you to play more aggressive and better, in my opinion. Believe me, I'm in the same boat. I think in some stuff, I've forced myself to play bigger tournaments against these guys. And like after a few orbits, I'm like, oh, if I try to play like their game, they're going to destroy me. But if I play my game, they're not going to know what the fuck's happening to them right now. And like, it's a kind of an ease and a comfort that kind of falls over. You're like, yeah, this is not GTO. Fuck GTO. I'm going to 4-bet this hand because fuck you. That's why. I mean, it's kind of nice.
Yeah. I mean, Jason Kuhn and all these guys are really, really good. Like when I sit in a tournament with him, I know he's really good, but I felt like the times that I played with them, I was kind of the unknown quantity. Like
sure.
I'm the fish or the wreck or whatever, but I felt like I was able to use that to my advantage a lot. Like I really felt like I kind of developed a really, really nitty, like this guy's always going to have it. He's just scared to play with this. He's always going to have it. But then when I needed to, I could use that a lot. You know, like there were a lot of spots where I could get away with stuff because they're like, this guy's like playing so ABC. He's got to have it here. It's just,
I think that's true.
I think I was able to use my image a lot.
I think is the unknown quantity is like, you know, when you're playing against whatever, Phil Ivey, Jason Kuhn, guys like that, it's like they don't know you. So they don't know how you play at all, but you could easily know how they play.
I know them very well. I've watched a lot of tape on them. I kind of like know, it's like, I know the solver stuff. It just doesn't, I've looked at solvers a lot. People don't believe it. I've spent a lot of time in solvers, but that doesn't mean I'm going to play as the solver would a lot of times. You know, I think a lot of times the solver doesn't take into account. This summer I used solver shit and it made me bubble the win, made me stone bubble the win 10K seniors that like, if I play my game, then I fold, but I know the solver says I have to call. So There's a bunch of spots that way this summer where I'm like, I need to learn to trust my gut, I think is what it really is. Like my gut's usually pretty damn good if I just go with my gut.
It's a good basis to have the wizard stuff and the GTO. It really is, especially to understand how the other person is playing. But I'm with you. I think you should always just follow your gut. I'm not saying you're always going to be right. I'm sure as shit ain't. But like, I'm more comfortable busting my way than I am busting their way. I'll put it that way. But like just for a viewership or whatever, it's not like you just cashed the one drop and like won one bracelet. You have well over $4 million in tournament earnings, and like you've been on tons of high or on stream cash games where you're up six figures plus. Like it's I don't know. It's been an impressive like kind of like I wouldn't say build, but like at least like good poker career, I would say.
Yeah, I've played a lot of poker. I feel like I've played with pretty much everyone in poker, and that's kind of, I guess, what got me into it. Early on, playing with like the idea that you can go play with Phil Ivey. It's not like you're not going to go shoot hoops with Michael Jordan or unless you're really special, you got some kind of special connection. But like any guy, I was looking at WPTs and watching it, and I was like, oh, Grand Sierra Resort. It was a really weird buy-in amount. It was like they were trying. 10Ks weren't working, so they went down to like 7,500 or some weird shit like that. But I was like, man, like I was reading, they had some update on some of the preliminaries, and I saw everyone that was there, and I was fuck, I can go play this tournament. I'm gonna be with like playing poker with all these guys, and I think the competitiveness in me, it's like I can go compete against. I always wanted to play against the best, which is like I know counterintuitive to making money. Like as a poker player, you should want to pick games that you can beat, but for some reason I've always wanted to play in games that were really tough. Like I know that's not how you're supposed to make money, but it's like I want to go play a cash game with these guys that are fucking sharks and prove that I can play with them. Like the funnest time I ever played poker was like Eric Person, Nick Airball, Patrick Antonius, Santosh. Like that fucking game was the funnest game I've ever played in. But everybody else is like, dude, why would you want to play in that lineup, man? Like these guys are not like. I'm like, Santosh is enough for me to, sorry, Santosh. Sorry if you're watching. I love you, bro. But actually, like, he made it really easy on me to make money. So I developed a really good strategy. But I mean, I love like the idea that I could sit down in a game that like maybe financially, I really shouldn't be taking that big of a shot, like with my bankroll. But it's like, I enjoyed the shit out of it.
I do like the networking and like being able to, especially tournament poker. I mean, in the last 10 years, maybe tournament poker hasn't been great for like getting to know your neighbor or whatever. But I remember we had Victoria Lifshitz on, and she's a great example of like businesswoman turned, super into poker. And like her first like foray into like poker was she's like, oh, I'm just going to go play this 25K because I know I'm going to be able to sit with like the best, and I can just like pick their brain and like maybe make a contact, and then maybe they'll help me down the line, and then she becomes good friends with like Chewy and starts a fucking poker solver company.
Shout out to Octopi Poker, by the way, right? Get in the solver streets. I've been on there. It's pretty cool. It's actually like cool to go on there and see how easy it is to use. You don't have to be like a nerd to use Octopi Poker. That's what's cool about it. Like I'm not really a tech nerd, and I can still figure it out. So I like that.
I messed around with it a little bit. It is easy for
it's very interesting.
It's intuitive for
amateur or outsider. You just go in and you're like, give me a spot, and it's like kind of like true or false game. You pick what you do, and you're like, oh, actually, you could have done this other thing, and it would be this much better, whatever. I mean, obviously, every situation is different, but kind of as a fundamental base of what your opponents are doing, the studied ones. It's good to know that type of stuff, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think like Steven Song. Guys like that are a good example of what studying all the time will do for you. I mean, obviously the results, I think the results show up when you study a lot. It's just, I don't know, I'm going to do it 4 hours a day anytime soon, but I think I can commit 30 minutes, an hour a day.
Steven Song stuff, some of the understated stuff that is more important than the studying is that he has like a tight knit group of friends.
Oh, yeah.
That they're all doing the same thing and trying to top each other. Like they're not, like
right.
Even Brock Wilson are good buddies, and some of that crew, and they're all competing against each other to be the best. I think that means a lot more than
of course it does.
Hours behind a computer.
Probably. I'm sure it's a combo of both, but it's like the old saying, you are the 5 people you hang around with the most. I mean, that's probably
all the time.
That's what keeps me hooked on poker though too, is the aspect of getting so close all the time. You know, it's like I just feel like I'm doing all the right things. I just need things to go my way a little bit. So
especially in tournament poker.
You did get so close though, and convert one time. Can we do a little bit on the bracelet run? I know it's the super
It's
turbo
bounty.
But you know, all the
I don't care.
like
Still
said,
a bracelet.
That's right.
Fuck
All the
you
best
guys.
play it.
I promise you that one means more than the fucking $200 Pennsylvania bracelet they handed out last week, I'm sure. What the fuck? Jeez, they give out 400 bracelets. Like, you actually want a bracelet when it mattered.
They need little asterisks for the online ones for sure.
I mean,
to me,
you know, it was a fun story for me, really, because of the way I won. Like, I went into the final table with like 6 bigs. So
which is probably about average in that thing.
Well, 6 hand, but you know, I think just having Negreanu at the table and Ali Izmarovich was on fire at the time.
Because his pants were on fire because he lied a lot. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Asher.
Yeah, Kassouf was there.
Asher
Yeah, no,
was there.
it was a who's who. Like, you guys should look it up. But the final 18 is sick.
But you know, just being plus, like, I left my place at Waldorf. I swear to God, I'm like, I'm gonna leave. It's at the Rio. I'm like, I'm gonna leave 40 minutes early so that I can make sure get there with time. I'm not stressed out. I mean, it's the final table. But I left my place. I got in my car with 40 minutes to get to the Rio, and I turned out on the strip. And I swear to God, as soon as I turned out on the strip, this big ass crane carrying this huge piece of concrete just pulls out from Park MGM onto the strip. And all these construction guys come into the road and they're like, y'all are going to be here a while. So like, I called Brent. I'm like, bro, I've been sitting here for like 12 minutes. I don't know what the fuck's like. I can't get out of here. I can't back up. I can't go forward. There's nowhere to go up the curb. I don't know what I'm going to do, bro. Like, and so I get out of the car and ask the construction worker, tell him what's going on. He's like, fuck, yeah, it's probably going to be another 10 minutes and we'll get this out of the way. Cause they were like trying to cross the road with it. And get it back. They were trying to get it on the strip and go down the strip with this big ass long piece of like concrete barrier.
Okay.
And yeah, what a weird deal. But finally, like, they get everything out of the way, and I think I had like 6 minutes. So I just sat there like sweating my ass off. So imagine like all the emotions going on. And also I'm short, and I'm like, God, you're gonna look like such a fucking ass clown when you don't show up on time for this. Like, what an idiot, you know? So I'm like hauling ass over there. Then when I get there, there's no parking spaces. So I have to park like in the very, very back of the Rio. And I've got like flip-flops on. So I'm running to the fucking parking lot. I'm running through the parking lot of flip-flops.
The dead of summer, your feet are on fire probably.
And I'm literally running, like I'm sprinting trying to get there. And I don't know, about halfway through the sprint, my phone goes off and Brent goes, they're going to wait on you. Because I was going to be like at least 3 minutes late.
That's really nice of him. Yeah.
And he goes, they said they're going to wait. I called and they said they'll wait on you. So there's that aspect of it. Well, then I get there and like I say, I'm the shortest of all, like, and I just kind of like hold on and grind it out. And we get to 3-handed somehow. And it's me, Asher, and Ali. And I've got to piss so fucking bad. Like, I'm about to piss myself. Like, and I guess I just don't have the balls to say, hey guys, can I take a bathroom break? Or I just didn't know what to do. So I'm sitting there like, oh fuck. And I'm like, even if I get in a hand, I'm going to be fucked. Like, I don't think I'm about to piss myself for sure. And there's nothing I'm going to be able to do about it. So they play a hand where, Ali opens and Asher 3-bets him, and I'm like, okay, this is it. And I fucking just, I sprint down the hall and get in there and piss. And I didn't wash my hands. I'm sorry, guys. But, I mean, I usually do, but fuck, there's like 400K up top. Sorry. But I was terrified. I'm like, you can't miss a fucking hand. You've got like 5 bigs still. Like, you're 3-hand. I just like had squeaked in. And I come running back. This is the crazy part about it. I come running back and the dealer's already dealt. Like, I think I missed 1 hand, but he's doing the next hand. And as I'm running up, Izmarovich puts his hands over my hand because the dealer's about to muck it. And Asher and the dealer both look at him like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, he's right here. Let's wait for him. Because I was just like coming onto the stage. Oh. So I get the hand, and that hand, like, I don't know, I must have had more than 5 bigs because I'm pretty sure I busted Asher in that hand. Like, I'm pretty sure I had Queen Jack versus his King Queen and fucked him over on that hand. I have to look it up, but that's one reason I really love that kid too, is because he didn't say, hey, he should have never got that fucking hand. He didn't say a word. He's just like, good game, bounced. Not a word with the bracelet up top. Yeah, you got to know, like, that shows like you got some really good.
You're a class.
Yeah, because I think anybody almost would have been like, yo, wait a minute. I just got screwed here. Like, that dude wasn't even supposed to get the hand, but he was just like totally didn't say a word. Good game, guys. See you later. It's like, and then I saw him later on. I'm like, bro, you're such a class act. You know, like, I think that would have pissed almost anybody off.
Yeah.
But yeah, good guy. But then Yeah, so ace nine, like maybe second hand a heads up. Ollie opens and I just rip ace nine in his face, ace nine off, and he's got kings, and I just fucking flop a nine, river a nine. So the ace nine fucking hand is the. I mean, it was for
It takes sense.
it was for 14x less, but now me and ace nine have a weird relationship for sure. I mean, it didn't get me the 5 million, but I won a bracelet with ace nine. Isn't it kind of crazy that I got screwed in the biggest spot of my life with ace nine, but then I won
The second biggest spot in your life.
and it's basically the same exact.
right. Oh,
Flip.
versus whatever 30%er.
Yeah.
30%.
I mean, didn't win it the same way, but yeah, I like watching that. I do like watching that clip back when the nine hits the river. It's just like my friends. I wouldn't. Let's not say friend, but Tim James was there, and he's a fucking scumbag. Let's be true. He's always been there though. Like in my biggest sweats, he was there at my one drop final table. But that's because he's fucking. Yeah, he's about to get some money.
Oh, man.
But like watching his face when that nine hit on the river is just so classic because his mouth just like that, like opens up. I'm like, yeah, so yeah, hopefully there's some more moments like that coming for me in poker.
All right, you heard it here first. Barcelona EPT is going to win
Yeah.
with ace nine, guys.
I think this podcast may have convinced him to go to Barcelona instead of Dallas.
I'm trying really hard to win these days. That's the difference. Like I'm very aware that I don't think I was ever really trying to win at poker tournaments. Like I thought I was, but now I look back and I'm like, I think I should really win a lot in the next 2 years because I'm playing a lot better than I ever have. A lot more disciplined. I'm folding for a change.
Boo.
Yeah. I've always had this really bad habit of, I remember Kerry Katz told me one time I got in a big flip. I mean, it was a flip to be fair.
Yeah.
But then it wasn't necessary to take that big of a flip. And it was like, who was it against? God. But I remember, they called him Goose, the German kid that was on fire for a while.
Stefan.
Yeah.
Something.
Stefan Sottenheimer.
Sottenheimer.
Yeah. So he was like on fire at the time. We were in Poker Go, and Kerry had actually messaged me, hey, like, can you come jump in this 25 cam? Kerry, God, I don't play 20. He's like, come on, I'm trying to build this thing up. And I went over there and busted really early. And I think it was like King Queen versus sevens or something, but we just got it in for heaps. And, or I called off with King Queen, I think. But when I'm getting up, Kerry's like, dude, it's not a fucking dick measuring contest. Bro. It's not a fucking macho thing. Like, play poker, bro. And he messaged me later on. He's like, you're really good at poker. You just don't have much self-control, man. He's like, I'm like, yeah, I guess you're right. So,
little therapy text message right there.
Yeah, it was pretty good advice though. I mean, I still think about that all the time. It's not a macho contest. That's actually what he said. He didn't say dick measuring. He said, when I got up against Brian, it's not a macho contest. And so like he was aware that sometimes I put my chips in because, you're not going to fucking 3-bet me, guy.
Yeah.
4-bet jam me.
I'll show you.
4-bet jam me. I'll show you.
I'll show you. I'll get in 49%.
That's right. Even 30% is enough for me.
Yeah. So true.
Before we finish up, you told me at the beginning there was a story with the blue shoes, and I want to hear it.
Oh, well, it wasn't really much of a story. So I was going to say to start this off, hopefully I do better at this than I did at my other social media foray. Like I feel like I'm doing a media tour this weekend, but no, we had a business meeting yesterday at 10 a.m. No, the day before at 10 a.m. And it was totally unrelated. I brought a guy that I know down here to meet some influencers, and they're trying to move some product. And out of all that they're doing these lucky box things. Have y'all seen these lucky box things around town?
Mm-hmm.
So they're placing these. This girl I know is an investor. She's moving these machines into all these casinos, and the concept is like it's sports cards, a sports jersey, Pokemon cards. But you go up there and like the sports jersey is $249. You could get a jersey that's worth $5,
mm-hmm.
or you could get a Mahomes signed jersey, or you could get a Pokemon. I think the Pokemon's $125 to pull. You could get like a $3 Pokemon card or one that's worthless, or you could get a Charizard. There's supposedly in there. So this is a new concept they're doing.
Machines, vending
right.
machine type.
But anyone, you don't have to be 18. You don't have to be of age or anything to do it. So like some of these machines are doing like $100K a week or something themselves. Like it's right. I don't know if it's a fad or if it'll be something that catches on. But anyway, she's like, hey, you're trying to build your YouTube and social media stuff. Like we've had Neon, and she names all these guys come over and do like a lucky box, like where they buy it and open it up. And she's like, these guys are getting like $1 million. I'm like, yeah, but they're already famous. She's like, no, even posting on our, and she said they had some like girl that was known for something totally different come over and do that. And she got like 2 million tickets. It could be really good. Like you could go viral. You should come
Get
do
on
it.
this shit, Art. Let's go.
Did you go over there?
Yeah, right. So I'm like, okay. She's like, my buddy's like, dude, buy a flashy outfit because you're gonna be like, and he's got this whole. But I go to Stefano Ricci and buy like this really bright blue shirt and these blue shoes, and I thought it looked pretty good and everything. But hopefully, I did better here than I did there because we went over there and like it was like, this guy's a really good sales guy, like one of the best I've ever known. Doug Neal, one of my really dear friends, a great sales guy. And so he's pumping me up. He's like, so what are you going to say? What are you going to do? We're getting the whole stick together. And we show up and I watch somebody else do it. I'm like, fuck, like I looked this girl up. Can't even remember her name. My memory's so bad, but it's like a lot of followers. Like, what am I doing over here? Whatever. But he's come up with this like really good way for me to approach it and say, hey, like, anyway, I've got the whole spill down, but I get up there and I'm like, okay. And I pick jersey, like there's a digital thing, like it's a vending machine, but you got to pick everything. But I picked digital jersey and I don't know it. I guess I shouldn't say it, but I picked my pick, and then I'm like trying to build it up. I'm like, all right, Holy Grail, we're gonna get a Charizard. Charizard's coming up. Fucking Pokemon Charizard. And he's like, bro, you fucking picked sports jersey. And it finally clicks. And I'm like, fuck, so then I'm going like, and then he tells me before, he's like, the whole thing people like is when you pull this out, don't just like blast it open. Take some time. He's like, like making love, like, like a girl wants you to have a little
Go on.
He's like a little foreplay. He's like, act like a little foreplay. He's like, the viewers don't want to see you just rip this open. They want to see you really take your time and see what it is. So I'm like, opening it. It's a canister with the jersey in it. And I'm
What a jersey.
but I'm opening it up. I'm trying to take the top of it real slow. I'm taking it out real slow. And they go Falcons. They're like Falcons. And I open it up and it's Penix Jr. And I'm like, who the fuck is Penix Jr.? Because I don't like really follow sports anymore. So it's like, I just like totally fucked the whole thing up. Oh yeah, I forgot. When I go to pay for it, before I fucking open it up and make an ass of myself, because I don't even know who Penix is. They're like the starting quarterback of the Falcons.
Penix.
You fucking idiot.
Penix. Stop saying Penix.
Penal.
It sounds way too close to penis. All right, go ahead.
So the funny thing is though, he's telling me jersey. Then he goes, you got to swipe your card. So I go swipe my card. It fucking declines my card. My card gets declined. My credit card gets declined we're fucking shooting this live for YouTube. It's live streaming on YouTube. My card gets declined. I'm saying Charizard. And then I open the fucking thing in and I don't know who Penix is. I really didn't. They're like, it's the starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. Like, what the? And then they're looking at Kamala. Why did you invite this fucking idiot over here to do this shit? Like, and then the funniest thing is I get done. I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. That was so embarrassing. And she goes, oh no, it's going viral for sure. That's what she told me. And then they all just started laughing. Everyone started laughing. And I'm like, you're kidding me, right? And she's like, no, she's like, my editors are fucking amazing. And I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah, watch, it'll go viral. And I'm like, no, there's no way. If it does, it's going to go for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Speaking of viral, where can the people follow Brian Green?
Oh man, I got all kinds of shit going on.
Let's go.
BrianGreenPoker.com. Yeah, just like you guys, I'm in the Phenom streets. I'm trying to pump Phenom up. We're going to use y'all's link since it's your pod. But yeah, I'm actually on YouTube too, Brian Green Poker. I started a YouTube channel. I hope people will sub to that. It's really hard. It's tough shit, man. Like, I've always really done well at everything I've put my hands to. So like when I've come up with an idea, I'm going to do this. This has been the only thing in my life that I've come close to quitting it like 20 times. And I'm just like, this isn't worth it. I'm spending all this fucking time doing this and I can't get any action and no one's really watching. And like, I've tried to give away shit. Like I tried to give away a main event seat last year and there's like 26 entries for a free 10K seat. Like I'm on social media every day for months. Hey, 10K seat. They must have thought, this guy's lying. He's not giving away shit. Or he's going to give it away to his friend. Or I'm just like, how do you not get more than 26 people interested in a free roll for 10K? Like, so it's really hard. It's hard. I gave away 3 1K ladies seats this year. I stepped it down a little bit, but I actually ended up getting like 400 subs off of that.
There we go. All right.
I went from 200 to like 600. So it was maybe worth it.
Should have been targeting the ladies the whole time.
Well, I do love the ladies. And
I like how you lean into that one.
Shakira, sorry. I love you more. You're the only lady I currently love. I promise. I promise. And yeah, so but man, it's been great. I love gambling. I'm ready to do more of it. I'm gonna make some big shit happen in the next few years. I'm gonna take my Hen mob. I've had a lot of where I min raise aces with 60 bigs and some jackass like just jams ace 3 of hearts. Some guy named Young Sung Kung or whatever, the guy that won WPT Player of the Year.
Yep.
I've had that happen a lot.
Well, there you see you calling off with Queen 10 suited, Brian.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad. But just like ripping 60 bigs over my min open and then getting lucky, that's not gonna happen every time.
No.
I'm about to bink off some big shit here pretty soon.
Well, I will say, Brian, I truly hope this isn't the last time we actually have you on this podcast. I hope this podcast goes for a while. But like there are a lot of people I feel like we could have talked to for another 3 hours and not covered the same stuff. And you fall in that category to me. So like
I could talk for another 3 hours if y'all want.
Unfortunately, we
pretty easily
have to be out of here soon.
I've got lots of good stories, so y'all definitely should have me back on. We didn't even get into my biggest Degen stories, so we've got a bunch of those.
Do we have time for that?
We have time for one Degen story before we run out of here.
Producer
people.
Yeah.
One particular one comes to mind is that I took second in a Poker Masters against David Peters and
the Claw.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, and I went into the Aria high limit pit, and 3 minutes later, I didn't have any money.
What was second place for?
I believe $174.
$1,000?
Yes.
That's a short
in
story.
a 10K. In a 10K. But I mean, I've got bigger ones than that, but that's just the quickest one. I mean, it was just, second place, 174, and I went into the high limit pit there in Aria and
blackjack or
10 minutes later I was walking out frowning and wondering why the hell I did it. But I've had many of those though. That's the great thing about my life actually is that I can do those and still survive. So, I can do that.
The best thing about gambling is gambling and winning. Second best thing, gambling and losing.
That actually does. I found out just recently that does create a different kind of dopamine than winning does. And I didn't even know that. So I read this study that losing actually creates a dopamine that's different from winning, and you get addicted to it even though you don't want to. So your body actually wants to lose, even though you don't really want to, but subconsciously your body wants to feel like your body wants to experience sitting in the casino parking garage with not enough money to get out of the fucking parking garage. It really does. Or no gas to get home. Even though you hate it, even though you hate it, there's a study that shows even though you hate the way that feels, secretly you want it. Secretly you're addicted to it.
It's an extreme feeling.
Secretly people
like BDSM for poker.
So that's actually why the study was kind of showing like why people will go lose all their money at slot machines. And I was like, even though they don't want to lose their money, they get like a dopamine rush that's, they just crave feeling like a piece of shit. Like, I lost all my money. I don't have any rent. Like, you just crave it.
All right. And with that, go lose all your money on Phenom Poker.
Yeah.
No, come on. Phenom Poker up to like $3, guys.
Actually,
it's
you really can't lose.
It's really hard, by the way. Rake back. Actually, do Brian Green. I'm sure he has like a ambassadorship as well.
I do.
Anyway, love you guys. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Me and my buddy, we making all of this money. Yeah, I know it's rude to be bragging.